So, Evan, thank you so much for joining us here on our Life in Digital Can Captures podcast.
Thanks, Dan.
Really good to have you.
Yeah.
So, to introduce you, I'm here with Evan Kaeding from Supermetrics, the Global Solutions Engineering Director.
That's
that
right.
right? I got that right. It's great.
Excellent.
Well, amazing. Well, look, do you know what would be a much better job than me introducing you? Do you mind introducing yourself, of course, and telling us a bit about Supermetrics?
Yeah, of course. And I like to introduce myself and talk a little bit about Supermetrics at the same time.
Fantastic.
So I was actually a customer of Supermetrics for several years prior to joining. So back in my heyday of doing digital advertising and a bit of data analytics, I found that it was really hard to get insights from the campaigns that I was running.
Okay.
And I found myself in and out of spreadsheets for, a lot of my day-to-day. And back in Portland, where I'm from, I found Supermetrics to be a really helpful tool for helping me in building out my campaign strategies, reporting up to my clients and to my bosses ultimately.
Okay.
Started using Supermetrics in my day-to-day, went from one company to another. Ultimately, that led to agency life. Supermetrics kind of followed me through this career path.
Wow.
And then come 2020, Supermetrics was really starting to take off.
Yeah.
I took notice and said, I think I can do some pretty interesting things with that company.
Yeah.
Packed my bags, moved over to Helsinki, Finland, where I've now been for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Far more proximity to Cannes in that case. But yeah, hard to argue with the growth story. Supermetrics, when I joined, was about 120 folks. Now we're bordering about 400.
Yeah.
And the growth has been great. And now we're doing so much more than spreadsheets. We're talking about connecting data to a variety of the different instruments that marketers might use, managing that data, and moving into the analyze and the activate side of things as well. So overseeing the technical solutions team is great because I really get to keep an eye on what our customers, what our clients, what our agency partners are doing, and what they're asking of us as well. So it's a really fun position to be in, and hopefully gives you a good introduction into me, my role, and what I like to do.
That's one of the best introductions. Yeah, absolutely. And such a cool journey. You were a client of theirs, so you actually saw the tech from the other side of it and thought, I want to be a part of this. That's great.
That's exactly it.
Amazing. And then moving, of course, to Helsinki, as you say, how's that been over the last 4.5 years?
Honestly, I'd say Portland and Helsinki are quite similar. Both a high emphasis on quality of life, good access to nature, good clean drinking water, and good, I'd say, balance between the demands of work, but also the ability to deepen your relationships with friends and family as well. So it's been quite a dream to move to Helsinki, if I'm being honest. And look forward to my work there, and I'm really happy to be with Supermetrics there in town as well.
Oh, well, fantastic. What a great journey. And as I say, thank you for joining us here in Cannes. We're trying to find some shade here just about. It is hot. But I guess, how are you finding Cannes so far, and what are you hearing that's being discussed or talked about?
Yeah, so this is my second Cannes. So yeah, luckily I've kind of broken in the soles, and I know a bit about what to expect. Haven't jammed my schedule entirely like perhaps I tried to last year. But I'd say my Cannes experience so far this year has been maybe a bit more structured than it was last year. I think that's probably the most interesting part. Is last year I had some time to go to interesting panels, to go to interesting talks, go to a few of the more social mixers. This year it's just been meeting. It's very structured. I started working on my Cannes itinerary basically as soon as we confirmed that I was coming out, which ended up being about 8 weeks ago. So really it's been getting the meetings, setting the meetings, setting the agendas, informing all of the stakeholders, doing all of the pre-work to lead up to the meetings. But man, has it paid off. I mean, I really think that with the meetings that we've been able to have and the stakeholders that you're able to access at Cannes, we've been able to get several months, if not several quarters of business done just in this short compressed week.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what I'm hearing as well. I think the meetings that you're able to have here, you can condense them, and it might take months to have these meetings elsewhere, and Cannes really is the place to be for that as well. So it sounds like the meetings are going well as well. So productive, of course.
Very productive. Yeah. I miss a bit of the spontaneity. Haven't quite had that maybe for my Cannes, but yeah, it's been very productive otherwise. So maybe a trade worth making. So it seems.
I'm sure. Well, that sounds great. Well, it might be better to find out now a little bit more about Supermetrics. I mean, you may be giving us insight to one thing especially that you guys are doing, what is happening in your industry, and how you guys are approaching that.
Yeah, definitely. I think realistically, we've been in the marketing intelligence space for a number of years. And I think the demands of our customers and our clients continue to grow on us as they do on every other partner in the ecosystem. And they're all about asking, what's next? Great. I have an insight, I have a recommendation. What are the concrete next steps that I can take to make that a reality? Whether it's campaign optimization, a creative swap, reallocating budget from one platform to another. And I think that's where things are going to start to really get interesting, is really completing the marketing intelligence lifecycle, where we're connecting to data, we're managing it, and then we're helping our customers analyze and activate it as well. So that's really the set of conversations that we're having along the Palais this week, talking with a number of our different customers to see what are they looking for us to deliver for them, and then a number of our different partners, both tech partners and solution partners, figure out how can we deliver this as well.
Okay, that's really interesting. Well, what are your customers saying when they say what their challenge is, or like what they're looking for you to deliver? Is there a common theme that you tend to hear?
I think it's really a combination of multiple things, right? It's a relatively personalized customer experience, messaging that resonates. I think we've all heard right message, right place, right time. And I think it's taking that a step further to the point where that's happening at scale across the established customer base, but then also targeting new audiences as well. So, and as easy as it might be to talk about doing that or say doing that, actually on the back end, it ends up being a bit challenging to do that, especially in the real world where you have legacy tech, you might have old school systems, maybe you have different kinds of processes that have been built over time, different teams managing those processes, especially for global organizations. So in reality, I think we can unify around that vision for sure. In practice, putting it together is where the work comes in.
Absolutely. But I hear you guys are doing fantastically at it as well. So
things are going well, and if judged by the wristbands, it's been a productive can in that way as well.
Yeah, amazing. Well, that's great to hear. Well, maybe a final thought. It's always good to look ahead, of course. So what's sort of next in your industry, or maybe the industry in general? Is there anything that you can kind of see coming through maybe in the next 12, 24 months?
Yeah, I think with Supermetrics, we live in an interesting ecosystem where you have the big cloud majors like AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, and then all of those different companies have advertising units as well. And really, we see that actually these are moving closer and closer together. So looking at how can we do the customer journey orchestration in a way in which it complements the advertising side of the business. I think those two worlds are moving closer together. It's not going to happen overnight, but I think, with the size of the industry, both on the cloud and tech side and on the advertising side, there's going to be a lot more synergies that are built in that side as well.
Amazing. Fantastic. All right. Well, look, Evan, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of Cannes. I'm sure this arm will be full of wristbands by the time you leave.
It's going to be just dragging behind me at that point. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Thanks, Dan. Much appreciated.